Welcome back to Signal Boost, coming to you from the new APS video studio. I'm Greg Mack from the APS Office of Public Affairs. The federal budget is still on everyone's mind. There's some good news emerging. We're hearing from more and more members of Congress that they don't support the proposed cuts to the science agencies. Thanks again to all the APS members who have voiced their concerns to Congress about the proposed cuts. More than 1,200 of you so far this year. It's working, so let's keep it up. On June 7th, the House Appropriations Committee held a hearing on NSF's proposed budget with Director Franz Cordova. NSF, like the other agencies, has had to craft its plan for how to operate under the President's proposed budget. Now, the White House's agenda has been stalled in recent months, and that includes the potential $1 trillion infrastructure initiative that they proposed. At the NSF hearing, Representative Derek Kilmer of Washington State asked about NSF's part to play in this initiative. Dr. Cordova responded by saying, quote, "We hope that investments in scientific infrastructure could be considered as part of the administration's interest in bolstering infrastructure, and so we're very open to collaborations," end quote. This could include NSF's major research instrumentation awards, large facilities, and more mid-scale projects. As you might remember from previous editions of Signal Boost, APS is working to get Congress to support this idea for projects at NSF and the other science agencies. The Department of Energy's Office of Fusion Sciences has now asked the national academies to work out a long-range strategic plan for magnetically confined burning plasma research, and to make that plan with scenarios both with and without U.S. involvement in ITER, the huge international nuclear fusion research project based in France. The national academies are often commissioned to do these sorts of long-range decadal and multi-decadal surveys that help the scientific community determine the best course of research. APS President Laura Green is actually currently the co-chair of one of these, a new decadal study for materials research. Speaking of the Department of Energy, happy 50th birthday, Fermilab! Fermilab is a DOE national lab and a shining example of what concentrated federal investment in scientists and scientific research can do. It has done so much for the field of high-energy particle physics, and it's hard to believe it's only been 50 years. Here's to many more. At the beginning of June, APS's Division of Atomic, Molecular, and Optical Physics held its annual meeting in Sacramento, California. Just like at the March meeting, local congressional staff were invited to attend a poster session. Staff members from U.S. Senator Kamala Harris's office heard from 5 grad students and postdocs from California universities who shared their research and personal stories of the impact of science funding, especially from NSF and DOE. This really helped to put human faces on the abstract issue of the budget. They joined other recent APS advocates like Karen King of Missouri, who wrote an op-ed about education cuts in the budget, and Dominic Calabrese of California District 4, who also wrote an op-ed, this one about the science budget cuts. Look out for stories about them in the next APS news. As for me, see you again on the next Signal Boost.